Hello, good evening, and welcome to the main event on the Inside Edge Network. Now, it has come to our attention here at the network that we cannot play any live action, any live event footage from today's events due to copyright. In fact, if we aired even a snippet of the overtime victory with Team USA against Team Canada, or we air even a second of the Cavaliers OKC game from earlier today, this show and perhaps this channel would be taken down. So for a perfect illustration of what Team USA did to Team Canada and what OKC did to the Cavaliers, especially in that first quarter, let me show you. Went a little something like this. Still not done?
Kenny, what did you think was the issue early on in this game?
10 turnovers, was it, in the first quarter? Destroyed the game. We were lucky. We cut it to 15, even after 10 turnovers. So, that was kind of the story of the game, and we got down in such a big hole, fought back, had a chance, but, you can't get off to a start like that on the road, turn the ball over like that on the road.
Well, the Cavaliers lose a game with James Harden. The combat sports world is going to turn back the clock, and they got a little racist too. And if you have any friends in Canada or any Canadian friends, give them a hug. They're having a real long day. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. I am Rob Rozycki. We have AA Anthony Alford in the middle. We have Eli Moon on the far left. Don't take that politically. How are we doing today, gentlemen?
Doing good, man. Doing good. The weekend has been crazy. Snow is back in Ohio. Not a fan of that. But yeah, just been a pretty busy weekend watching the Cavaliers. Wish I could have better news about them. And then the Olympics. Just some cool stuff going on. Double A, how you feeling?
This weekend was great. The gold medal game this morning. Then I went to church. Then I said, you know what? After church, I'm going to go ahead and walk the treadmill and have, Planet Fitness. No plug here, but I just did. But all the TVs. And I get to walk the treadmill during the first half of the Cavs game. No problem.
Yeah.
And then first 6 minutes of the game, 9 turnovers. Just an embarrassment. Other than that, Rob, my day's been great.
No, it was actually a really cool day, with the Olympic hockey starting out as early as it did, 8 a.m., and you had the Cavaliers at 1 o'clock, which we will start with. I'm sure AA and Eli both have some strong opinions on. And then, we had NBA basketball day, the closing ceremony. It's just been kind of a cool sports day in the fact that the NFL really had nothing to do with it. The NFL is obviously off this week. So, it was just a nice little weekend, nice little chill out. You can kind of just sit and watch whatever you want, really. If it was bobsledding, if it was professional basketball, if it was alpine skiing, pretty much anything. So, a nice little time for us. And I think we will start with the Cavaliers because, AA seems to be a little animated about that. For those of you who don't know, it happened earlier today. They lose 121-113 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Breaking news, they're pretty good. Defending NBA champions, and it looks like they're the class of the West again. This was a litmus test for the Cleveland Cavaliers, not having Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They did not have another big scorer, another all-NBA guy for them. And the Cavaliers were fully healthy and had James Harden in the lineup, Dennis Schroeder in the lineup, Keon Ellis, all their new guys. And yet they still come up short again, 121-113. AA alluded to the massive amount of turnovers in the first quarter. I think it was 10 total. They ended up making it a game. They took the lead briefly in the third quarter. But this was a game that they got pretty much handled from whistle to whistle. And I guess when we were to start out this conversation, a loss on the 22nd of February with about 25 games to go, how big of a deal was this litmus test and this loss against the Thunder of Oklahoma City?
Yeah, I don't know if they got handled from whistle to whistle, Rob. I mean, they outscored them 2 of the 4 quarters, and the Cavs had some moments. It was just that bad first quarter they had. They got off to a rough start. I think they were outscored 19-5 to start off the game, to Double A's point, alluding to the turnovers early on. But also, I don't think this is as big of a deal. I think, if anything, it shows how the Cavaliers need to play basketball the rest of the way. Jared Allen is very, very important in this Cavaliers system, and the Cavaliers' success in terms of what they're going to do the rest of the way. James Harden, we know what he's going to bring. He's going to score. He's going to be that second option. He's also going to open up the passing lanes, and he has. I think he had multiple assists today. I believe, up to 8 assists for James Harden today. 9 assists, excuse me. 9 assists for James Harden. You know what you're going to get with him. But Jared Allen played so efficient, and I know, Double-A, we had talked about, you wanted to bring to the forefront Jared Allen, his efficiency. But, I mean, during that winning streak and then in the James Harden era where they weren't losing, Jared Allen was playing so well. And today he had a double-double. I get it. 11 points, I believe, for Jared Allen, 13 rebounds. So when you look at it, he still played well, but he didn't have a star, an all-star moment. And that's what we're going to need out of Jared Allen, especially if Evan Mobley isn't going to step up. If Evan Mobley is only going to be the defensively sound forward, / center that we have, in him, then that's what we're going to need. Because other than that, we cannot rely on Sam Merrill to get 20 points off the bench. I mean, he shot the lights out, 6 threes, but you can't rely on that every game. You need somebody who's going to step up in that starting lineup. And if they're not going to put Tyson in, obviously they like him at the second unit, then it's going to have to be Jared Allen. It just seems like that's what it really comes down to. But at the end of the day, to answer the original question, Rob, I'm not freaking out about this loss because I think it just opened up what the Cavs need to do. It's like, okay, this is what you clearly need to do. You need to run the offense through Jared Allen. First quarter, the first few plays need to be ran through Jared Allen. Get him going early, and it's proven that he'll have a dominant game if he gets going early. So,
I hope, for the sake of this conversation, I hope Eli is right in terms of this game being a learning experience. But I have to say, this was embarrassing to start the game. And I think actually it was worse to open up the first quarter. I think it was, 33 to 8 or something to start this game. 9 of the 10 turnovers happened within the first 6 minutes of the first quarter. So the 10 turnovers in the first quarter. So you do have that. But if you look at it from a big picture standpoint, which is what the Cavaliers are judged by, national media, who are not going to pick. I know Barkley did, but it is what it is. But most people are not going to pick you to go far in the playoffs. There's not, because every single time you hear that there's momentum with the Cavaliers, like the Cavaliers made a great move, there's momentum. What's the issue? Getting punked in the paint. Well, I had to look it up here. What was it? 13 offensive rebounds that OKC had. Multiple second chance points. I think OKC doubled in a number of second chance points compared to the Cavaliers, and that's with the missing stars that Eli just mentioned. So if you look at the big picture scouting of, all right, what are the issues with the Cavs come playoff time, come big games? You can punk them out when the time comes. You can body them. And that's kind of what happened, even though Jared Allen, in the second half, Jared Allen did settle into the Jared Allen that we have been seeing in this win streak coming into this game. So I will give Jared Allen some credit there, and there's a reason for that, which I'll get to in a little bit. But Evan Mobley, where are you? Number one. And number two, when the Cavaliers were chipping away and making a run, quit giving up on going to the paint. Quit settling for three-pointers. I get it. OKC couldn't miss 21 three-pointers. Yeah, it's going to be a tough day at the office. but you're on a run. OKC was basically dead in the water in the second and third quarter. You could have not only cut the lead down, taken the lead, you could have got a decent 5-10 point lead on OKC in the middle of the ball game. And every single time, except for a little bit of a stretch in the third quarter at the beginning, you're settling for three-pointers that are bricking. Like, get back inside, run that offense, and get Jared Allen more involved from that standpoint. So I think there were a lot of big mistakes that happened today. I hope Eli's right in that this is a learning experience, but this is the exact scouting report that we have had on this Cavs team and that the national media, Rob, has had on this Cavs team for the last few seasons.
That's the troubling part. I do want to go with the learning experience. This is still a fairly new group. You got the three new guys, no more Darius Garland. Obviously, they are going through some changes, and they got to learn themselves a little bit. So I do understand, kind of feeling themselves out against the class of the league. I mean, they beat Denver right before the All-Star break, and they really haven't played a lot of serious competition. So it was kind of good to see that, and okay, in a situation that you could lose and it's not going to end your season. I do like what we've learned for the Cavs, but at the same time, the problems, they're not new. They're not anything that is a change from the previous incarnation of this core four team. Jared Allen, we talk about the double-double, and the Cavaliers have a remarkable record when he does get a double-double, but this seemed like it was a disappearance. It wasn't as impactful of a double-double that we've seen with Harden the first few games. I mean, he's been well over 20 points. He has been, for stretches in games, taking over. And, he did get 14 boards. He did get over 10 points, but at no point in time did you ever think that this is JA time, that this is the time that he is kind of steering everything. And the other part, too, that kind of troubled me, I know he's not the greatest three free throw shooter, but he missed 3 in a row, I think in the third quarter when the Cavaliers were back in and when they were clawing back in. And that kind of shows me that's not technique. That's not lack of practice. That is what we're going to talk about with the Olympians a little bit later on in the show, just the moment getting in your head. And maybe Jared remembering the previous comparisons and the previous chatter about him. So I think, the nice thing is that we're talking about J.A., who is ultimately going to be the fourth option on a good day. Now, Evan Mobley, we'll see what happens with him. I know he had a pretty light day, 25 minutes. Keep in mind, he is still on a minutes restriction. So we're not getting.
Did not play against Charlotte, too.
We're not getting the full Evan Mobley experience right now. But on a good day, it's going to be Mobley and then the two Hall of Fame guards in the front court here, or in the back court rather. So J.A. is somebody that's going to have to be there defensively and rebounding wise, and getting bullied around kind of was troubling. But like where I'm at with this team is the loss itself doesn't concern me as a group. But it really does Jared Allen. Like that's going to be somebody who maybe might be the fourth option, but is going to be very important on the other side. And when it just comes down to having the offense moving around, having that threat down there opens up those 3-point shooters. That helps out spread the floor. So if he's not firing in all cylinders, I don't know if options 1, 2, and 3 are going to be clicking. So again, I hate to straddle the fence on this one, but again, it's mixed emotions after this loss.
Yeah, I mean, I think there needs to be a world where the Cavs just lean into who they are. Evan Mobley got 11 shots up today. I get it, minute restricted, but there's only going to be a few more shots to add, 14, 15 shots a game for Evan Mobley. And Jared Allen's not going to be very efficient, like I said, without getting the ball in his hands early and often. He shot 6 shots today. And yes, he was 4 of 6, but that's not getting him involved early and often enough to get him rolling. But the Cavs, obviously, look at this stretch where they were on that winning streak. Jared Allen being efficient and being the second scoring option most of these nights was the reason the Cavs were winning these games. And I think for Evan Mobley, I think the Cavs, unfortunately, are just maybe asking too much of him. And that's a different discussion for an off-season discussion. Trade deadline's passed, so that's an off-season discussion. But I think they're asking too much of him. I mean, he was 1 of 4 from 3-point land today. You know, they're trying everything they can to get him involved and make him the third option. We're talking about, you know, it's Mitchell, then it's Harden, then it's Mobley. But they are trying everything they can, and it's not working. But I think they shied away from getting Jared Allen the ball. As many touches today offensively, AA. And I think that's what affected the Cavs because, you know, we're talking about Jared Allen shrinking, but look at the proofs in the pudding. He had a ton of touches the last 5 to 6, 7 games, and he was very efficient with it. He doesn't get the ball very often today, and he still gets a double-double, but it's not as, wow, Jared Allen impacted the game today, and the Cavs lose by 8.
I am ready, based on today's results and based on how this team has looked since James Harden has been here, I am ready to say, you know, take the trading wheels off of Evan Mobley and figure it out on your way. And when I say that, I'm saying it from the standpoint of Jared Allen should be the second or third option. If Evan Mobley at this point can't figure it out, oh well. I have seen this team be successful over this last few weeks with James Harden here with Jared Allen. And the big reason, especially we're talking about getting Jared Allen involved early and often, here's the difference between James Harden and Darius Garland. Darius Garland relied a lot on ISO ball. When he has the ball in his hands, it's basically an ISO offense. You know, everybody get out of the way, and then maybe with like 10 seconds left on the shot clock, 5 seconds left on the shot clock, maybe Mobley is ready down low. Maybe Jared Allen is ready down low. Jared Allen is not big enough to just set his feet down low with like 5 seconds left on the shot clock and get a shot. Where he can get a shot going and where he can be forceful is when James Harden is forcing the ball down the floor early in the shot clock and getting the ball to Jared Allen before the defender gets set. So all of a sudden, Jared Allen, before you know it, he already has 10 points on a good night because he's getting fed early. So if that's the offense that they're going to run for the Cavaliers, I think that is their best path, especially with James Harden's passing abilities, his vision, his floor vision. That is the Cavs' best avenue for success, is making Jared Allen, making the decision that Jared Allen is going to be the second or third option almost every single night, obviously matchup dependent, but you can force that matchup and force your way of working the bigs in there through James Harden and Jared Allen. I think that is your formula for success. We didn't see that today, but we saw that the previous 6-7 games with James Harden in the lineup.
Well, and also, too, you know, keep in mind the good old adage of everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. They had an offensive plan until they committed 10 turnovers in the first quarter. So everything was completely and utterly jacked from second one. And that, you know what, that is a hell of a reason, if you want to tell me that, of why J.A. was out of rhythm, why that whole situation was just a little topsy-turvy. You know, all of a sudden, you know, what I looked, it was 25-8 was where it finally maxed out at in the first quarter with about 4.5 minutes to go. After that, you're just trying to hand the ball to the Hall of Famer and see if he can do something to get us in this damn game. So, yeah, I want to see what happens in a similar situation when the Cavaliers are playing another good team. They got the New York Knicks coming up on Tuesday. That's going to be a nationally televised game at 8 p.m. Thank you, or 7:30. Thank you, Mr. President, for doing your State of the Union on that day and bumping us over to internet only. But nonetheless, you know, I do want to see what happens against the Knicks, see what happens with Karl Anthony Towns. That should be a pretty good game for J.A. because Cat does not like to play underneath. He fancies himself a three-point shooter first. So other than defensively, he's going to be running around a little bit. But, you know, it should be a pretty big game for J.A. And I do want to see, you know, the Cavaliers clean up those turnovers. Again, it was a reason that J.A. didn't get involved, but it's still a mess you got to clean up. So, yeah, I mean, for what it was, being down that bad in the first quarter, the Cavaliers kind of evened out okay. But, yeah, there's still some stuff they got to fix.
And let me address one other thing, too, because I've been seeing this going around the block. Oh, it was the early time slot. It was the early start time. And, like,
You were bitching about that.
If you're a good team, you're going to play on a Sunday afternoon, sometimes at 1 o'clock. That's how it goes. That is how it goes. It's been that way for 40 years. So if that's an issue, then you deserve to get your behinds kicked.
Well, remember, too, they're going to be playing, if that first round of the playoffs, the Cavaliers have not historically been loved when it comes down to the TV schedule. So I'll guarantee you they're going to get a Saturday, Sunday, 1, 2, 3 o'clock game at some point. Right. I would think that might even be their opener. So, yeah they're going to have to get used to that and, playing while the sun is still up. I know that's a little weird, but to it.
That's the thing. They are used to it. They got their behinds kicked by the Knicks.
Yeah.
At 1 o'clock on a Sunday. People are feeling good coming out of church, and you're bringing the hopes down.
And you're bringing up the Knicks, and Robbie brought up Cat. But they all, what the Knicks do have is Mitchell Robinson. They have him. They have Jeremy Sochan. They just picked up from San Antonio. And Cat, I get he's more of a shooter, but he's been more efficient as a rebounder this year, I feel like, as well. It's going to be a big test for Jared Allen, nonetheless. I think the Knicks are that challenge. Detroit coming up is a challenge with Jalen Duren and company, Isaiah Stewart. I mean, these are some big tests. But I do think Jared Allen's capable. I think Jared Allen is not shying away from the moment this time. And we've talked in the moments in the past where he's like, the lights were too bright and this or that. I don't think it is that for Jared Allen this time around. But one thing's for sure. If they want to be efficient, the Cavs have to get him involved because it's going to open up a big game for Sam Merrill. He had 20 today, but the other night he went for 30+. So you have Sam Merrill getting involved. You have Max Strus when he gets back into the lineup. You can really open up the floor. One of these big men does need to establish the paint, though. And if it's not going to be Evan Mobley, who also is not hitting his three-point shots now, then it's got to be Jared Allen. Otherwise, the Cavs are in big trouble because James Harden is never going to command that respect necessarily from the paint. He's a shooter. I mean, and then you got Donovan, who's obviously, he's going to drive. He's still going to make you feel some sort of presence, but there's something about having that big man presence. And if Jared Allen isn't able to get going like today, then the Cavs are stuck having to win it off the perimeter shots of Merrill and Donovan and James Harden. And so I just think I think the Knicks game is going to be very important because if they get bullied around AA, like you were saying, like how they did today a little bit, then it's going to be another, can they win on the perimeter? And I don't think they have enough shooting right now to really win on the perimeter when it comes down to past Donovan, past James Harden. Like I just don't know if they have enough shooting to win these types of games.
How long do we have to wait for Evan Mobley? Like
I've been asking that for a while, and you both are kind of trying to let me pull the guts on that shit.
I'm sorry, say that again, Rob. I'm sorry.
I've been saying that for a few weeks, and both of you were telling me to kind of cool my jets on that. Like, yeah, I mean,
well, I apologize. I was wrong.
Sooner than later, he is what he is, and I understand he's still pretty young, but at the same time, he's been in the league a while, and with every player, you hit a point where you are who you are. And I don't know if Evan Mobley is ever going to be, again, what we kind of projected him out to be was Giannis, was an MVP candidate, was a dude who was north of 25 points a night. And it just doesn't seem like that's ever going to truly get there. Now, can he be a great number 3 on a championship team? It looks like it. But, and luckily enough for the Cavaliers, he would be the number 3 option at this point. So, I'm just waiting for this to happen, and it just really hasn't clicked. But this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. A little quick, more local news to kind of sweep out of the rug here. Guardians, they started spring training just yesterday. They won their first split squad, both of them actually, and they won today. So they're now 3-0 on the season. Book your playoff tickets, everybody, and get a good parade spot. That's what I would do, definitely after this hot start. But in real news, actually, the Guardians did make a small free agent move. Rice Hoskins, former Philly and former Brewer the last couple of years, he has signed a minor league deal with the Guardians. Now, according to The Athletic, he was on their top 50 free agent board, but it's a $1.5 million base salary if he makes a major league roster. He is a little long in the tooth, I believe he's what? I had it right here. 32 years old, a little bit of an injury history. Right-handed power hitter, though. So at points in time and in moments in his career, he has been a 30 home run a year guy. That really hasn't happened in a year. But it looks like the Guardians are trying to address very cheaply the right-handed power hitting situation.
Yeah. I mean, Rhys Hoskins has had some pretty important seasons with the Philadelphia Phillies and showed some pop in his bat. I mean, he is a little bit older. I mean, this will be like a typical Guardians move, though. A mid-30s pickup, and hoping that he can provide some value on a minor league deal. So we'll see. I'm excited though. Like I said, nothing's gonna stop me right now. I'm on full Guardians excitement until I realize about like mid-July. The Dodgers are probably gonna go back to back to back. But I'm feeling good. At least they did something. Up until this point, like Austin Hedges and Jose Ramirez re-signing were the two biggest moves I feel like we had this whole offseason. So feeling a lot better. Double A. I see you thinking over there about all the moves the Guardians could be making.
No, I'm thinking about my boy Nolan Jones.
Yeah, Nolan Jones, captain's great.
Nolan Jones.
Captain's great. Nolan Jones.
I'm messing
He
around.
might be playing there this year. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? My only question, this is a stupid, Rob and Eli, this is a very stupid question. This is not meant to be taken seriously. It's just a random thought. With split squad, how do you determine who's on which team? What's the science behind that?
Well, the other thing, I don't know, because the other thing too was I was looking at one of the box scores. I think it was a Cincinnati game. They not only had a split squad going, but every starter was out by the fifth inning. So not only did they have a split squad going, they brought two teams, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that works out. I don't know if they draw straws. I did hear a few stories. I think there was some. It was John Smoltz. I think he had a game decided split squad. He was going to go with the one that was closer to the golf course because he had a tee time with Tiger Woods later on. There's been a few players that purposely got ejected from spring training games to make that kind of thing. I don't honestly know. I mean, I think that'd be a good question for Voter or somebody, even a bench coach or anybody like that, just to kind of clear that up. But yeah, I don't know if it's just kind of like Little League where the first 9 guys to show up go to Goodyear, the other 9 guys show up to, got to go on the road and face Milwaukee bastards. See you later.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you gotta go up the road to Phoenix, which I think is it's not that far a distance from Goodyear, but yeah, you gotta travel. Which you know what? I mean, if you're gonna be in Goodyear for almost a month,
A little over, yeah.
Jeez, I would want to get out of Goodyear any chance I can get. If I got to play a game in Phoenix, or I got to play a game in California, give me out of Goodyear for a hot second, just to play a game. I'll go on the JV squad. I don't care. I'm doing a split squad. Are you kidding me?
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know if the one that has to go on the road is all the ones that are like, oh, yep, you're going to be the AAA team soon. What?
Yeah.
That's funny.
If I'm a star player, it's man, do I just mess around and just go to the other game?
Yeah, at that rate, who knows? Yeah. And nonetheless, though, at least the Guardians do have a right-handed power hitter. He has history at left field and first base. He's corner outfielder, first base. So if you are, I don't know if he's a candidate maybe to kind of take some innings out in right field, or if he could be the veteran presence to Manzardo that maybe Santana was last year. But if you're vying for that corner outfield spot, if you're the Nolan Joneses of the world, David Fry might, maybe even too. But yes, obviously DH could be a factor. But yeah, if he ends up panning out, we could put another power bat in this lineup, and maybe putting him after Manzardo in 5, or maybe even down at 6 or 7 might really extend this lineup out.
I know we got a minute left before break. Forgive me for not doing enough research on this. Stephen Kwan at center field. Did I see that correctly?
Stephen Kwan's been a gold. I think he's 2 or 3 time Gold Glove winning left fielder.
They're going to try him out there center field, kind of see.
Well, right now, Chase DeLauder seems to be the hope out in center field. Nolan Jones might get some time out there, But yeah, it seems like Chase DeLauder seems to be kind of the first audition, and you also have Angel Martinez.
Okay.
He has something to say about that too. But yeah, it's Quan. Like you got, it'd be like moving Jose at this point in time. You got to, you got a 10-year solution at third base. Why create a problem?
Okay.
But yeah, he can play over there, but I don't see why you would try. I don't know. Maybe he would want to increase his free agent value, but right now that might be the only reason why I would think to do it.
Because I didn't like fully follow up on this. My apologies, but like I'm looking at this. I'm seeing randoms on Twitter say like, "Oh, put him at center field as trade bait." Like maybe you look at a trade. I'm like, "Oh man, we got it. We need to chill." I get it. I understand. I understand being negative around the Guardians. I get it, but I'm like, come on. Let's hope that's not the case.
And we do have some our other Guardians adjacent news. Tristan McKenzie with the bionic arm now at this point. You know how he couldn't throw his fastball here? He was a lost cause, so on and so forth. Goes out on the mound for San Diego for his spring debut and throws a 99-mile-an-hour fastball to start things out with. So,
you know what?
That's awesome.
Good for Tristan. Seriously,
Yeah.
good for Tristan. I know he's had a rough go at it. So good for him. And hopefully he can get back to a level that, that we thought he could be at. And, just the health got in the way. Hopefully get a little bit of muscle too. Gain a little bit of muscle.
Well, yeah, I mean, he needs to be more than 140 pounds. It just has to happen.
Yeah,
right?
you can't be a toothpick out there. I'm sorry. You just can't get a little bit of a muscle.
No. But, yeah, I do wish him well. I do, hopefully he, as long as his interests do not conflict with our own. So unless it's a interleague game or a World Series game, then yeah, go Tristan. But this is the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Up next, I alluded to it at the top of the show. If you have a Canadian friend, they may need a hug. Hockey's kind of their thing. And the women beat the Canadian women, our United States women beat the Canadian women 2-1 in overtime. The United States men just beat the Canadian women or Canadian men 2-1 in overtime. And they haven't won a Stanley Cup since Bill Clinton was president. So they're having a tough day. We'll talk a lot about that, and also to what some of the athletes have been dealing with at these games when it comes down to mental health and, quite frankly, just trying to keep their shit together. So we'll get into that, and then we have news and notes to finish up the show, figure out what the hell we've learned in the last 7 days, and we should get you going by, hopefully, we'll say about 11:30, 12 o'clock. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We have Eli Moon on the left. We have Double A in the center. And for the only time in my life, I'm on the right. I am Rob Rozycki. This is the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Double A is going to start his break early. We'll be back. Welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. I realize I forgot to put my hat on, so you have to see my bald head. This bald head belongs to Rob Rozycki. We got Eli Moon, AA Anthony Alford. And remember, you can catch all of us and everything we do on Inside Edge Net. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Are we on Twitch yet, AA, or are we on the TikTok and Instaface yet?
We're working on it.
Okay. Well, I'm sure AA will do a very good job letting everybody and all know, probably via email, about the expansion that we are currently going through. But yeah, we're grassroots. We depend on you guys listening. We depend on you guys watching. And the more of you guys watch, the more you guys participate, the better off we all are. But yes, this is the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. AA Anthony Alford, Eli Moon, myself, Rob Rozycki. And Canada's having a little bit of a rough time, guys. I guess we could go on that angle, or we could go the Star-Spangled USA, shove it up your ass. First time in 46 years we get the gold medal in men's hockey. Women's hockey takes it obviously against Canada too. 2-1 in both games, both in overtime. Yes, the capper today was basically the last of a major event of the Olympics. And it was a hell of a way to go out for Team USA. It was a great time, gentlemen.
I loved it. Yeah, I was gonna say the it doesn't happen often when something important sports wise happens on a Sunday morning. That's not Premier League soccer or even NFL football overseas. That happens at 9:00, but usually those are not important football games there. Like, you're not seeing Chiefs and the Bills.
No, you're seeing Dolphins and Browns.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So to see important hockey there, and let me just say this too. I thought from a broadcasting standpoint, I thought Kenny Albert and Eddie Olczyk, I thought they did a phenomenal job telling the story. Mike Tirico as well, telling the story of the importance of this. And I kind of joked with you guys a little bit, but going into these Olympics, I didn't really know that it's been 46 years. I mean, we reference that Miracle on Ice moment all the time. We reference all the time.
Yeah.
And we should reference it all the time. But to understand how close we have been, I still remember the 2010 gold medal game that we lost thanks to Sidney Crosby for Team Canada getting that W, and then a couple other games. So to nail this moment, for it to happen in overtime, I don't know about you guys. My heart jumped a little bit when we were up 1-0, and then late in the second period, we gave up the goal, and I'm like, oh no. Oh no.
Well, it was kind of like the roles reversed from the women's game, where the women were down until about 2 minutes left in the third period, and were able to come back and win that game. I just think it was cool to see that these, most of these USA hockey players, especially on the men's team, weren't Olympian veterans. They had not really played this style of hockey, which we had talked about is different. There's not as much physical play, it's more finesse and skill and speed. As far as not bruisers aren't necessarily taking over the Olympics in hockey. There's a reason why Tom Wilson, there was talks about Tom Wilson in Canada, being not as physical or whatever. Just a bunch of talk about the physicality not being the same in the Olympics. And I think it was very cool to see, though, that these NHL players really kind of rallied together and won the Olympics for not having this experience, not having this type of experience, especially in this type of game, the way the Olympics structure. I think that was cool to see. I think it was cool to see Werenski, Columbus Blue Jacket guy, and then just seeing Austin Matthews, seeing some of the stars. We had a conversation on Primetime earlier this past week about, should basketball be a winner's sport for the Olympics? And they're talking about because of stars, but, you look, especially, in the hockey right here, there was a lot of stars to look at right now this weekend alone, I guess, for the USA. So that's my stance on it. I think it was a cool weekend for hockey. This plus the four nations they've done in the past, they seem to always get it right when it comes to like nation pride or like just I don't know. They do a good job. Hockey like really gets everybody cheering for the USA or cheering for Canada. They did the same thing with the four nations. Nobody cared about NHL All-Star Game weekend. It's just a fact. And then they started doing this four nations, and everybody rallied, and nothing else mattered for that week or so, So.
Yeah, it was just for me an amazing game to watch. Yeah, literally the first shot of the game goes in for the States, and yeah, it was basically them trying to keep their heads above water. The last two periods of the game, I mean, Canada, the onslaught. They had a 5-on-3 advantage for about a minute and a half. And the fact that the U.S. power play held strong and kept that and killed that penalty off, not to mention, I think they were 16 for 16 in the tournament. They did not give up a power play goal, which I'm sure is one of the reasons why they won. Connor Hellebuyck, the goalie, two-time Vezina Award winner, hell of a night too. 42 saves. 41 saves on 42 shots. Gave up 3 goals in the tournament. I know Connor McDavid is the bee's knees when it comes down to the hockey community, and he got the MVP award despite the fact that Canada didn't win the tournament. Hellebuyck, I honestly don't know how you don't give that guy the award after the tournament he had and the gold medal game that he had. And then obviously Jack Hughes with the golden goal goes down in American hockey lore. His name will be next to Micah Ruzioni. That is the biggest, next to Micah Ruzioni, the biggest international goal ever scored for the United States. And it's a great day for American hockey, men's and women's both. Eli, obviously, we're throwing the graphics up there. They won gold. Believe that was the first time in 16 years that they won that thing. So, just a hell of a day for really Team USA. And then, overall too, Team USA. They didn't win the medal count, but they set a record 4 medals. They set a record 4 gold medals. A really good day for just a really good Olympics for the United States. And I guess now we're sitting here at about 10:30 at night here on Sunday night. The Olympics are officially put to bed. What are your prevailing memories from these Olympics? What are you going to be thinking about maybe 5-10 years from now from these games?
Yeah, I'm not sure, this is just a different discussion for a different day. I don't know if there is anything I'll remember from 5 to 10 years from now. But I think there were some cool moments. I think the hockey ones specifically are really cool. But I don't know if there's anything that we'll be talking about 5 to 10 years from now.
Curling fight?
Yeah, but besides like stuff that's like brought up, like maybe in the, in like happenstance, like, hey, this happened. Men's hockey and women's hockey, they did this, especially for the men's to win first since 1980. But I don't think anything's going to really stand out superbly to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I don't think there was like a standout like Michael Phelps moment or something like that in this Olympics. I guess if it was this men's team. But the one argument you have, I guess, is, and we were kind of talking about this off air, is like, well, because they're NHL players doesn't mean more or less. To me, it doesn't. It stands up. I think it's still as strong because of the lack of experience, but it's not as strong of a story as Michael Phelps going on a swimming tirade, or the men's Olympic team going on this redemption from winning bronze, years prior. I don't know. That's just me, Double A. Maybe I'm being a Debbie Downer.
Well, the Michael Phelps thing, that's like an all-timer. Michael Phelps, Miracle on Ice, Tanya Strong, like those are all-timer Olympic stories. But I'll say this, we're going to remember definitely these hockey games, especially the men's one. I know some didn't see the women because they were on the USA Network and on NBC because figure skating, I get that. Rob's right about this point, though. All of it was on Peacock. So if you just have Peacock, you're set there. I think we're going to remember the men's hockey final and the way that it ended. I think we're going to remember that for a long time. That's going to be one of those moments. Anytime you talk about the Winter Olympics, anytime NBC talks about the Winter Olympics. That clip, that game-winning, gold medal-winning goal will be shown for years to come. And, I hope this part's not true, but if Team USA goes another 46 years without winning another gold medal, you're going to go back to February of 2026 and point to this one.
Well, and that's why the 80 stuff grew, and the all of the lore around that one grew, because again, we waited an awful long time for it, and I think it's going to be pretty cool actually. I know it's going to be the French Alps, for those of you wondering where the next Winter Games are going to be, but it'll be a cool time because they'll be able to bring in the 1980 Olympic hockey team and the 2024 Olympic or 2026 Olympic hockey team on the 50th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. Because the other thing that kind of went under the radar today, they won this gold medal on to the day on the 46th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. Now, Eli, to your Michael Phelps thing, have you ever heard the name Johannes Klebo?
No.
Well, he joined Michael Phelps this Olympics, becoming the only athletes ever to win double-digit gold medals. I can't believe you are not in tune with the world of cross-country skiing, Mr. Moon.
Well,
so there was a little bit of a Phelpsian thing. He won, I think, 6 gold medals in this Olympics alone. But again, it was a sport, non-American, in a sport that, even for Olympic standards, is a little bit of a fringe.
Well, we were talking about what we're going to remember, and I guess it's a matter of what is the world going to remember and what's the U.S. going to remember, because at the end of the day, we've had a conversation these entire Olympics about how the marketing hasn't been great. So I think, maybe U.S., statewide, I think we could see us remembering the hockey. These just because I think hockey does have some sort of, have support here in the States. I mean, I enjoy hockey. I'm not like the biggest fan, but I do enjoy watching it. I think it has support. But I think worldwide this isn't going to be talked about 8, 12 years from now. I guess it just depends, to your point, Double A, how long it stands up to. But that's my stance on it. Is I don't know, because of how the Olympics market it, there really are any moments that'll be remembered moving forward, because Michael Phelps was marketed when they did the gymnastics team with the U.S. They were marketing that gymnastics team very heavily. They were marketing the LeBron and U.S. basketball. They just haven't marketed this. It's to the point where people are looking up what Lindsey Vohn's done in these storied Olympians. And I guess that's my whole point on it. Not saying these aren't great. These are great feats. I'm happy for the hockey teams. I think it's cool. I'm just saying I don't know if this is going to be talked about 8 to 12 years from now.
I think it will be. I think it will be, because the other point, real quick, the 2034 Winter Olympics is back here in the States. It's in Salt Lake City.
That's fair.
So that's enough of a gap where if you want to market, Eddie Olczyk brought up a great point in the broadcast about marketing to kids. Especially, I know the Sunday morning slot is not ideal for television viewing. You would have got higher ratings at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, as opposed to 8 a.m. East Coast time. But again, that 8 a.m. slot, think about how many families were watching this gold medal matchup this morning. Think about how many young hockey players, or those who may be on the fringe as far as playing that sport, they watch that game. You have your signature childhood moment of, this is when I can pursue that sport. This is when I can get after it and go. Or, all 3 of us here locally, we covered the Barron Cup here locally. It was a local high school tournament, which had just, I believe, probably just wrapped up now. But think about now going into those district tournaments here with high school, the OHSAA. There's going to be extra motivation now to play hard with a lot of these athletes because of what both men and women's teams did on the ice. We will for sure, guys, see more females on the ice because of what the women's team did, and also the men's team.
Yeah, absolutely. This reminds me, this has to be the tweet of the century. This was from Craig Custance. I don't know him at all. He's verified. He looks pretty official on Twitter. Hockey guy. But nonetheless, this verifies him. This is Lookout 26 Olympics. And he retweeted USA Hockey mentioning that their 8 and under membership is now over 100,000 for the first time. He tweeted that in 2011. He called his shot by 15 years. That is, ladies and gentlemen, the tweet of the century. Great work on that one. Now, the question that I want to ask Eli, we talk about stars and marketing. There was one that kind of broke through, actually. Not in any of the sports that we are very familiar with and we're very good at. But Alyssa Liu, she won the first American medal in figure skating, and it was gold. But first American medal in 20 years. For those of you who don't know anything going on with the Olympics and have seen some pictures, she's the figure skater with the striped hair going all the way down. She, and pretty outspoken. She has a big personality. She was out there front and center, and she kind of took the country for a second. Where Ilya Malinin, who had a chance to in the first week of the games, but obviously did not do all that well with his individual programs. But yeah, she, I think, is probably one of the winners coming out of this, more so than pretty much any of the other conventional Olympic sport athletes.
I think she has to be on the forefront, though. Like, it's a little different with Winter Olympic stars versus Summer Olympic stars, because if you take Michael Phelps, for example, you have the summer all to yourself. Other than regular season baseball and preseason NFL football, you have the summer all to yourself. The Winter Olympics, how much is ESPN going to cover this young lady? How much is NBC?
Yeah, they're all going to kind of fade away for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm looking at NBC right now, which has sports rights to almost everything right now at this point. I mean, how much time are they going to dedicate to her, as opposed to, again, Michael Phelps, Simone Biles,
and she and Lou might not even have a chance to kind of keep that going. And I think she's 21 years old somewhere in there, and we're talking about one of these sports where 24, 25 is ancient. So this
real quick, she almost sorry to interrupt. She almost has to. I hate to go this route. She almost has to be an influencer on her own through social media. That's
going to be the way she has to pay the bills. That's going to be the way for her to kind of keep it going, and see if she can spring this out. And you see what Johnny Weir, Tara Lipinski have done after their Olympic runs. So that might be, for her anyway. It might just, she might have to be content with kind of being big in the world of figure skating. But your average sports fan's only going to really kind of understand she exists for about 3 weeks every 4 years.
And I only know those two, Tyra and Johnny, through their media work.
Yeah,
I
remember watching both of them skate in the Olympics. I mean, like that's.
Well, I never did. I mean, that was a little bit before. I mean, I was alive.
Yeah, it was
before my time. Like, they have exploded on the media front. They're hosting the closing ceremonies. They've been doing a great job. But you almost have to be. Again, especially Robin and Eli, especially in the Winter Olympics, as an individual winner, you have to be an influencer on social media. Team USA Hockey, especially the men's, they're going to have the backing of the NHL. They're going to
they have that platform. Yeah,
the NHL is going to take, as they should, they're going to take full advantage of the marketing.
Well, and here's a stat for the NHL that they're going to love. Those final 4 teams, U.S., Canada, Slovenia, and Finland, all 30 NHL teams were represented in those 2 games. Every NHL team had a member on one of those 4 teams. So, yeah, they're loving life over at the NHL. It is a worldwide game.
Yeah.
And the part where I get concerned, because this is not necessarily the men's hockey situation, because they're going to continue on and play games and stuff like that. But we mentioned a lot of these individual stars, the ones who did well and even the ones who didn't do well. it's great. For 2 weeks, they get the exposure to the Olympics. They're on prime time. They're on daytime. They're on late night. They're on mornings. They're on 24/7. We hear their stories. And then we leave them in the dust. I get very much concerned about their mental health.
Yeah, that's what I was going to kind of bring up here. I mean, we had a few instances, and Alyssa Liu's been front and center too. I mean, she's the son of, or she's the daughter of, I believe her mom's Chinese. There was some pressure, and this is I've heard a few places here. There was some pressure from China to have her compete over there, and when she said no, they started spying on her. So, she's been dealing with a lot of stuff that a 19, 20-year-old woman, girl. I mean, the whole Britney Spears, I'm not a woman, but not a girl either, whatever thing going on. That's kind of indicative for a lot of these folks, because at least with the guys in the NHL, Connor McDavid might be stinging after this loss, but quite frankly, that dude has had a lot of practice shitting the bed in big games and having his team lose and him still getting an award somehow. He's also too, closer to 30 than 20. I mean, he's a little bit more of a fully developed adult. But in the case of Malinin, I mean, he was crying, leaving the ice, yelling out, "I blew it." Alyssa Liu was, kind of seen on camera. There was a Japanese skater that was having a tough time after a bad run. She was blocking the camera. In a world where you have, I forgot where I put my cell phone, but the social media and the computers in your pocket, where you have constant dialogue and debate and analyzation and, second guessing, this has to be an extraordinarily difficult time for these folks to be Olympians, because maybe, 20 years ago, they could disappear into the ether for 3.5 years. Now the world's up in their grill pretty much 24/7. And, the agony, the thrill of defeat, or the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, these folks are really looking at in the face big time. And, we're seeing a generation that is having some tough times with mental health to begin with. It can't be an easy time.
Yeah, I mean, for any of them, and I know you mentioned, McDavid maybe having an easier time just because of being in the
Practice
spotlight.
makes perfect.
Yeah, but I disagree with that, because if anything, he's feeling more pressure because he feels it from his NHL route, and then he's feeling it on top of this for being known from a country known for hockey. So I think regardless, all these athletes are going through it in one way or another, and it is just it's just recognizing just taking care of what's important, maybe more outlets, more resources from the Olympics. But it's just understanding and knowing your body, and that's part of it. And then part of it's just unfortunately the inevitable, with competition, with going out and chasing your dreams, chasing your goals. There's gonna be some heartbreaking moments, and we saw with Ilya Melikin, in these other athletes, they've stepped back out, and they, as far as these Olympics, got back out on the ice and started skating again. But I don't know. I just think it's tough. It's tough. I think there need to be more resources, especially because they're out in a whole different country. What happens if you do have a disappointing bronze, instead of gold, or you don't place, or whatever. I mean, I just think there needs to be more resources. We don't hear a ton about it. I'm sure there are decent resources out there, but I mean, I don't know. That's my only take on it. I just think it's sad with everything going on in the world, and with the sports world, especially everything going on. So.
Well, you even see, too, we brought up before the show, Lindsey Vonn.
Yeah.
Who has, obviously, a great history, competing. But, 41 years old, the week before, tears her ACL, and, and she gets right back out, and we're like, whoa, this is nuts. And it would be one thing if she was 21 or 22, whatever, and it's all right, you have 4 more years. No, this is it. This is it. I'm going back out there, and obviously, if we've been keeping track, she basically broke her leg. So there's another question. Logically, it would make sense. Okay, she's going to retire now, but you go for that extra inch route. It's a tough thing.
Yeah, and at least Lindsey Vaughn is lucky. I think, is a 4-time Olympian, maybe 5. She's, so she's done the rigmarole a lot of times. Imagine if you're a, 21, 22-year-old figure skater or, gymnast, if you want to go to the summer games, where you might get one bite at this apple. And that bite might be one floor routine in a team competition. And if you're the weak link and you don't medal, you're going to sit there and watch your team for the next week and a half, and then you're going to stew about it for the rest of your life because you're not going back. So at least with her, she has gotten to the mountain. She's chasing the dragon. She got the high of a gold medal, and she wants it again. The folks who never even experienced that, who never dealt with that, I mean, it's got to be a crushing thing if you don't, especially when you're a dude like Malanen, where, I mean, they were giving this thing to him before it started. He was the Dodgers of figure skating. He was the Patrick Mahomes Kansas City Chiefs of figure skating. Like, they were just assuming he was going to win. And, when you're a dude like that, I would assume it's be a little nicer if you're just a normal run-of-the-mill Olympian who's just happy to be there. But when you're these guys that NBC's doing features on, that, articles are being written about in multiple languages, when you are, one of those chosen few every Olympics that, the entire country is pinning their hopes and dreams on you, coming back from, I hope for their sake that their support system is there. I hope the coaches understand what they're dealing with. I hope their parents understand what they're dealing with. I hope the people in their lives are there for them, because I would think that no matter what, win or lose, tomorrow everyone goes home. And, on Saturday, you were in northern Italy, in the Alps, competing at the highest possible level. And on Monday, it's all done. And what do we do now? And I'm back in Parma. Like, I'm sure win or lose, it's got to be an adjustment where, and again, you're a dude like Malanen or even Lou, who is a huge celebrity right now, but middle of next week, someone's going to get a DUI, someone's going to get traded, some team's going to get put up for sale, and we're going to forget about it. And so it's got to be a huge, huge come down. And these support systems, I would love to see if the IOC would devote some resources, almost like a veteran, where you kind of need, some training to reacclimate to being a normal human being again.
The one thing I'm thinking about, and again, I have the closing ceremony in the background, and I'm seeing Olympic athletes, like, they're happy. This is like the go home party. And I think back to all those summers I've had at Cedar Point, where it's like, it's going to be a great season. It's always sad when the season ends and you have to say goodbye to a lot of folks. But I think back to reality shows. The big talk this week has been Tyra Banks and America's Next Top Model, but you could apply it. You could apply it to that show, American Idol, any of these like competition shows where the winner, The Voice, where the winner,
Survivor,
gets like a major contract and they get that. But guess what? There are 49 other losers per season, and they're left in the dust. They can't contact their families. And then when the show is done, they go home and they work at Walgreens again. Yeah. And the Olympics is kind of like that. I don't want to say that sports, especially individual sports, are reality shows, but they are.
They're exactly reality shows.
That's what it is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly.
It was the original reality TV.
So all these guys that are, that performed on the Olympics, in individual sports, they've had their moment in the sun, and it's great. They worked hard for it, but then tomorrow is day one all over again if they want to go through the 4-year grind again. And and I hate to say that we're the saving grace, or we're going to talk about these Olympic athletes. No, we're not. We're going to move on to Cavs and Browns and Guardians and whatever other major sports. We're not going to talk about them until they're in the news. So those are the kind of things that are like huge, and those are the moments when they are alone. Do they have the right support system? And in that Tyra Banks America's Next Top Model special, you've seen a lot of girls who did not have the right people around them, who were sold a terrible dream, and when it didn't work out, they were left in the dust while the show moved on to its next season. And it's like the same thing with the Olympics and sports.
It's the harsh reality of, Olympics are it's reality TV. I mean, look at the primetime coverage. They're selling you on stories. They're selling you on the personalities. They're selling you on the people. And it's reality TV for sure. And just like any bit of reality TV that, you were talking about, if it's Love is Blind or Survivor or The Apprentice back in the day, whatever, it's a machine. It chews you up and spits you out. And, we talk about that a lot internally when we're, talking about the business we're in. Nobody really cares too much when it gets down to it about these folks. There'll be a new quad god. There'll be a new, bobsled story. There'll be a new skier. There'll be, whatever coming up. And I'm not trying to fault NBC for that, because their job is to come up now with good programming for the 24, 28, and 30 games. So it's just, it's the traveling circus goes on, and it chews you up and spits you out. And I just hope that, the IOC, US IOC, whoever it is, would be in charge of the individual sports, even that they do kind of have, somebody around to even just call in and check up on these guys and just, hey, it's been a few, I haven't talked to you in a month, how's everything going? Have you had to make bail recently? Just basic stuff. And I think that might be, a lot for what could help them out too, is the fact of having people that still care about them and having people that still want to see them around, because 300 million people just grabbed a Kleenex, used it, and pitched them out. They need to have the people around them that, that they understand, that are important. We're not important. We're not important to Alyssa Lou. We're not important to the quad guy. We're not important to bobsledding team. It's, husbands, wives, children, parents, coaches, friends. Those are the people that are important, and those are the people that need to be doing the work now after all these Olympians have busted their ass for 4 years.
Yeah, and real quick, I don't mean to say it real quick because it is important. What happened over the weekend in the NFL with the young man who passed away. And obviously it's just a tragedy. We say all the time, and we're going to be guilty of this too, of, hey, check out your folks, make sure things are fine and stuff like that. It's really tough because you just don't know. You just don't know. And it's really every day life brings a different challenge, multiple challenges. And, you just want people around and stuff that could tell you, like, hey, things are going to be fine. Things are going to be okay. Even when it's not okay, things are going to be okay. It's just, it's cold because even with the NFL, it's a demanding world where there are expectations each and every single day. So that was tough news over the weekend.
Okay. Do we have anything else? We just got really heavy there at the end of the day. But yeah, I think it goes without saying we should probably put it somewhere in the banner that says, call your friends, make sure everybody's okay. But yeah, that's the longest. It's a tough business. It really, really is. And with the gambling thrown in there now, with so much money on the line, and these guys have always been mercenaries, professionals, hired hands, whatever you want to call it. But the fact that sometimes one quad axle or one bad pitch or one little mistake is now potentially millions of dollars and lifelong legacies. Yeah, it's stuff that these kids really, they need to have the training before and after, and especially in the NFL too. You mentioned that so much pressure on these guys. Like, I think teams in these sports, they got more than enough money. If the Dodgers have enough money to pay out $1 billion to players, they got enough money to keep a couple psychologists on deal to make sure everybody's noodles aren't scrambled up here.
Now, if you're cheating, now that's a different story.
Well, I mean, cheating cannot be tolerated. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unless it's Albert Bell in the cork bat, then we love it.
Yeah.
The other cheating is but yes, this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We got 2 segments down. We got 1 more to go. We'll go through some news and notes. The combat sports world is turning back the clock. We're going to party like it's 2009. It'll be fun for everybody. And also, too, speaking of combat world, I know you're shocked. They got a little racist over the weekend here.
A little.
Sean Strickland weighed in on Bad Bunny, and I haven't heard it yet. I asked these guys to play it for me. I got a feeling where it's going to go, and I think you do too. Also, yeah, just a bunch of stuff we got to cover here. We'll go through all that stuff and what we have learned in the last 7 calendar days. But yeah, we'll take a quick break here. We'll be right back on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. This is the main event, and the main event means Eli Moon, AA Anthony Alford, and Rob Rozycki. We'll be back. And welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. I am Rob Rozycki. We got the Reasons Why I Drink over here. We got AA Anthony Alford, Eli Moon. And yes, we're rolling just after 11 p.m. here on the East Coast. I'd like to thank everybody who is still joining with us right now here on the late night here. And thank you for sticking around after football season. It seems like we lose a lot of steam in the sports world when all of a sudden the pigskin goes away. But yeah, anybody who's still around, you're the real ones, dude. You're the real ones. But again, this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We do have some news and notes to come up with, but AA, from what I understand, I did hear you bitch incessantly, actually, but before the show about the olfactory situation going on in your apartment. You were saying you needed some new wax products that with a wick that could possibly burn up and provide a pleasant odor and a nice ambiance for the room.
Yeah, I'm actually about to run out of the Alley Rose Fragrances candles that I've had
yes,
for over a week now, which has been phenomenal. It smells really good. I'm actually jealous because last week I ordered 2 of these. I ordered the lavender, the frosted berry flavor. That's the one I have. It's lit up. I can't bring it over here right now, but it's lit up. But
that's safety. That's very good safety skills.
Yeah, especially with all this equipment here.
Yeah.
But I have it going right now. My mom, I let her keep the vanilla flavor, which smells phenomenal. They both smell great. So I'm going to actually buy the vanilla flavor next using that promo code for myself coming up next. So AlleyRoseFragrances.com, that's where you can handle business. Use the promo code InsideEdge20. You get 20% off different candles. You got body mist as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of great stuff. But these candles are phenomenal. The burn times a lot longer than some of the major competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And then remember too, that is AlleyRoseFragrances.com. You can use the promo code InsideEdge20. That's capital I on inside, capital Edge, E on Edge, and then the number 20, and you will get 20% off. Here's a little special discount there. Yeah, that's how you do it here. And yeah, that's clean, minimal ingredients. This stuff is quality stuff, and we're very proud to have them as a network sponsor. It's very good to do business with good people. So yeah, check them out, help them out. Small businesses, we need to do what we're doing, especially in these tough times. But this, again, we are on the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We got the 3 amigos here for one more segment as tradition. We should go through some news and notes. And I hate to move from pleasant smelling candles to dipshit racist MMA fighters, but I guess that's a transition we're going through today. You guys are telling me that Sean Strickland, who I know as a marginal UFC talent, who likes to run his mouth about pretty much anybody who's not a white dude, right? Is that the dude I'm thinking of?
Yeah, you'll know him as a POS in about a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He had a fight against Hernandez on ESPN UFC night last night, and I think this is where these comments are coming from, or the lead up to said fight. But yeah, he had a chance to, as one of my favorite other podcasters out there says, he had a chance to run his dick licker for a while, and I think he pissed off some people. I haven't seen this yet, so you're going to get my live response on this. Eli, cue the video and piss me off, please.
Like, I mean, look at the NFL, dude. You had that. I don't even want to say the faggot's name because, like, it's just like, what? Somebody give me his name. Dude, come say his name. I want to say, you know what I'm talking about, the halftime show guy, the Puerto Rican, right? Puerto Rican?
Bad Bunny?
Bro, yeah, that fucking faggot. Like, dude, it is so crazy that this is America now. Like, back in the day, dude, the NFL was the fucking standard of being a fucking man. And now every fucking year, the NFL, I think they all get together around a table and say, you know, guys, how do we fucking ruin this sport? How do we get it up? How do we fucking ruin it? Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we bring a gay foreigner who doesn't speak fucking English and have him perform it? Like, get the fuck, and then you have like, yeah, dude, it's like, The NFL is like fucking pathetic these days. So even like the NFL players fucking probably hate it. Yeah, no. NFL's. I think we'd all agree the NFL got real gay lately.
Wow, I'm sure Paramount and Toyota loved that their logos were over that dickbag shoulder as he was talking. So we have, by my count, some racism, some xenophobia with some casual homophobia kind of sprinkled on top. Because the F-bomb that they were bleeping most of the time wasn't the one that we like to use. What the fuck?
Yeah, this is typical for Sean Strickland. I mean, it's not acceptable. First off, it's ridiculous behavior, and it's ridiculous that the UFC continues to allow him to get in front of a microphone. I mean, he's known for like getting on streams and saying whatever's on his mind, which usually isn't anything good or anything positive or anything, anything good. But, I mean, they continue to put a microphone in front of his face. They had to cut off his microphone at the UFC post-fight press conference after the fight because he was still going on and on. So they had to cut him off then. It's just something that, they shouldn't. The UFC has to handle themselves. I mean, out of all the sports that are like major companies, they don't handle themselves as like a major company when some of these guys get on the mic and say some of the shit they do. And I think that's kind of the problem. We're allowing Sean Strickland to be, the talk of the UFC weekend when there were other fights on the card. There are some guys, and girls that are promising in the UFC, and instead we continue to talk about like the antics. It was something that was really, I mean, like I said, not giving Sean Strickland a pass by any stretch, but the UFC has been thriving off of antics and outside of the octagon since since 2016, 2015. I think gone are the days where it really was about the fighters and the fights and the matchups, and now it's about who can say some I don't know, some headlines, some taboo, some grab the headline attention type stuff, and that's what Sean Strickland does. And it's never anything, like I said, anything good, but it's something that will grab people's attention. And there's other fighters in the UFC that do that because that's the way they're going to get to the top, or at least some sort of card action and get paid. But I just think it's crazy. You would never see an NFL player, NBA player, MLB player, even NHL, any of them talk out of pocket like this. So I just think it's crazy when we're putting the UFC on ESPN. They're on Paramount. They are on these big promotions. It's not like they're back on they were on Spike back in the day. This isn't like they're back on Spike. This is they are on big promotions, and to have this type of comments, I mean, I'm just surprised how long, the UFC is going to allow this to slide on this type of stuff, and Paramount for that matter. So,
Dana White actually encouraged, like, hey, if you put a microphone in front of Sean Strickland's face, this is what you're going to get. So Dana White has cashed his check, and this is CBS and Paramount company, who's been making a lot of great decisions lately, who have spent $7.7 billion bringing the UFC to Paramount Plus. Now, I don't have $7.7 billion or million or thousand dollars, but I have a little over $7 or $77 where I can say monthly I will not be buying Paramount Plus just for UFC programming if that guy is representing your organization. And by the way, that clip that we just played was only a bit of what he said.
Well, he went after Ronda Rousey. He went after a lot of things in this whole situation.
Yeah, and we only played a bit of what he talked about there. So, again, any company could run their company however they want, and I could choose not to spend my money on an a-hole like that, that thinks like that is ignorant enough to say those type of things publicly and thinks, he can get away with it in a company that allows him to get away with that. So, good riddance. I mean, seriously, good riddance. And CBS and Paramount, again, who have been making terrible decisions lately, hopefully, they're getting their money's worth. Hopefully they're getting their money's worth, putting that a-hole out there
Well, and I know, and I'm trying to be respectful to the game out of for you, especially Moon, because I know you like the combat sports, you like MMA, and I understand the appeal of it. But this is the crap that gets in the way. I mean, Double A's, you were talking Moon actually about how there were a lot of fights that happened, there were a lot of cool things that happened, and all we're talking about are these damn press conferences. Dana White has never suspended Sean Strickland for anything he has said. He has actually backed it up by saying it's his right. You put a microphone in his face, you deal with it. This is, and obviously too, we see what the UFC is going to be on the White House lawn in June on the president's birthday. This is something that is lockstep with what the president is doing. You talk about Paramount Plus grabbing this thing. That's what they wanted. They want this demo. They want this. You don't sign this crap up without knowing what you're getting. So, the UFC is doing almost everything they can to basically embrace it. Now, when you get down to it, if you want to look at it from a pro wrestling standpoint, from a reality TV standpoint, Strickland makes a great bad guy. He makes a great villain. He makes a great person to root against. If this was a wrestling heel, keep in mind, they were doing Nazi gimmicks in the 50s. This was something, they don't typically care about stuff like that historically. If this was a pro wrestling thing, then we might be able to take it a little easier, but we're reasonably sure that Sean's not working. We're reasonably sure that, the body that he works for at least condones, if not agrees with the language that he's putting up there. This is a guy who was saying up into this fight that one of his training strategies was to fight more like a Mexican. They're fine with this. And that's what turns me off from this whole fight game in general.
But I don't want you to
crap shoved down my face.
but that's not fair, Rozycki, because there's bad apples in every sport. Unfortunately,
what
it comes down to.
But Roger Goodell doesn't defend Rashid Rice when
that's what it comes down. Yeah, but I don't want you to. But you're sitting here painting the sport. You're like, this is why MMA. I don't like MMA. But there's bad in every sport.
UFC like this.
Well, it comes down to the front office, though. I'm not excusing Sean Strickland's comments by any stretch. Like I said, I started off by saying they're unacceptable. They're actually disgusting by everything he's saying. But it comes down to the UFC, the front office standing up. But I don't want it to become that MMA, because there's a lot of good stories in MMA and people that give back to the community that are still working part-time, full-time jobs. There's a lot. So I don't want it to get construed that MMA is the sport. This comes down to the front office and in the world of sports in general, and where we become in entertainment, whether it's controversial or right or whatever. The world of sports has become what can get to the fastest headline, and right now Dana White is chasing that, and it's in a disgusting action with a guy like Sean Strickland, who, like I said, shouldn't be in front of a microphone with some of the shit he says. Like the stuff we just played the video before is disgusting.
Put him in front of one.
But I get it, and that's what it comes down to, the front office. So it doesn't come down to the sport, because all these sports have this type. It's a matter of who's given the attention to. So I think that's really what the discussion comes down to, is Dana White needs to get a better grip and understand that the sport right now doesn't have a Conor McGregor that before the antics got out of control, people loved it. They don't have a guy like George St. Pierre who was a good guy everybody liked, or they have John Jones. They don't have that right now. They're trying to find that. So maybe what would help is minimizing the bullshit and the bad that they have in front of microphones. That's all I'm saying, Rozycki. I don't want it to, because MMA already gets a bad rep because they're looked at because it's literally fighting, and fighting is typically looked at as not like a good thing. But there's a lot of good with the sport of MMA. It's guys like Sean Strickland that give it a bad rep, but there are Sean Strickland type people in every sport. It's just a matter of what front office and what the brass is allowing to put to the forefront. And right now, Dana White's doing a poor job of it.
Yeah, and that's the issue. Is like Roger Goodell isn't going out and siding with players who are acting afoul. Neither is Rob Manfred for all of his transgressions.
Yeah.
Neither is Adam Silver. He's not, he's not supporting Ja Morant's right to wave a gun on Instagram. And I'll agree with you. This is not an MMA problem. It is a UFC issue. That's what Dana White runs. That is what, through his power and through his clout, that's, he condones this behavior. He lets it happen. And I don't know if he gives a shit about, this wasn't the sport it was 10 years ago. He's going to do things the way he's going to do them, because unlike Manfred, unlike Adam Silver, unlike all these commissioners, there is no union he has to deal with. There is no, PR. He is the grand poobah. He is Vince McMahon. He is not Roger Goodell. He is the judge, the jury, and the executioner. So for him more than anybody, for any of these commissioners, it is truly a representation on him and the way he conducts his business by letting shitheads like Strickland go out and do this. Kobe Covington's another one. He was the one that was, in a MAGA hat running his mouth and got his ass knocked out by an immigrant. Like, they let these guys do it. And yeah, there are bad apples in every sport, Eli, and I do agree with you on that. This is the one sport that these bad apples are at least being allowed, if not encouraged, to flourish.
They're being encouraged. I'm not even going to go with allowed. They're being encouraged. And the fact is, if this guy was in the NFL and he was cutting a post-game presser and he said that, he's out of the effing league.
Right.
He's out of the league.
Right.
That ain't no suspension or anything like that. He's
being tackled the first time he uses the F-bomb.
Yeah. So the fact. So again, I can choose how I spend my money.
Yeah.
And I'm choosing not to spend my money on this garbage.
Yeah.
And that's that. But the problem though, even if I say that, the problem though is that CBS already paid Dana White for this garbage.
Well, that's their problem.
And that's that. So that's why to your guys' point, maybe Dana White doesn't feel like he has to retreat. And it's kind of like the TKO mantra. That's who they work for. They don't have to retreat. You got athletes out there, or Strickland in particular, because Eli is right. You guys both kind of said it. This is not everybody. There's a lot of great stories in MMA and in UFC in particular. But that's the problem, is that when you trot out this guy, nobody else is going to want to talk about all the other up-and-comers who are going to main event other shows, who's going to main event the other Paramount Plus cards that's supposed to be there for a wider audience. As long as this guy is representing the UFC, I got no use for them. And that's even if John Jones and Conor McGregor and some of these other guys come back.
Well, don't get me started on John Jones, dude. Like, that was the first kind of, like, he was being rewarded while, fighting off violent felonies. And again, we could do the whole bad apple in every sport, but, he was given title shots, multiple, after all that stuff. And it looks like this dude Strickland, he's in line for a title shot coming up now. So, not only is he just not even going to be punished for it, he'll be rewarded with what he wants. So, yeah, I don't have any time for this stuff.
You'll have a group that supports that kind of language.
And and it's going to be up to guys like Moon, and even on a much more famous standpoint, Ariel Helwani, who are on the outside looking in, saying that, hey, this is a bad plan. This is not the way to do shit. It's going to be up to guys like you guys to represent the sport and say, yeah, this isn't what completely MMA is about. This is not what we're doing here. But fact of the matter is, Dana White's a promoter with questionable politics. He doesn't like to pay his fighters. He bullies reporters. It's just not a good time at all. I think if I'm a UFC fan and I'm not in this whole bro society, I'm wondering what I'm doing with my sport. I honestly do. But yeah, it is what it is. One thing, though, and we can move on, I guess, off this Strickland rant, one subject of it was Ronda Rousey. And you might be asking yourself, why is Ronda Rousey being talked about? Well, she's going to come out of retirement. It's going to be Gina Serrano. I don't know when the date of the fight is, but I do know, and we all had to look this up. It's been 10 years since Ronda fought. It's been about 15 since Serrano fought. Something that would have been pretty cool to see maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. I don't know is it going to be that cool to see right now. Is this something worth talking about, or is this going to be one of these other combat sideshows? It's on Netflix. It's not Dana White, so we can watch it in good faith if we want. But is it going to be another sideshow, or is this going to be a real fight?
No, I mean these are two of this isn't Jake Paul, and this isn't him facing one of the best boxers or just fighting Nate Robinson. This is two of the best at one point, in MMA. Two pioneers. Gina Carano had one loss in her MMA professional career. Rousey with the two losses to Nunes and Holm at the end of it. Yeah, I believe she was 12-2. But these are two people that they're first off, we're trying to fight in the UFC. They took this to the UFC. Dana White didn't want to, so they took it obviously to Netflix and MVP Promotions, and they said, "Yeah, let's do this." But yeah, make no mistake. This, though I'm not the biggest Ronda Rousey fan, I think this is going to be definitely an interesting fight. I don't know if it'll be 5 rounds of war. You're right talking about it for the next year and a half because of the actual octagon. But I think the whole spectacle itself, Rousey coming back. Seeing how she reacts at a spotlight, really only you've seen her in interviews talk about how her experience in WWE, she didn't like that, and just having some commentary from time to time. So we'll kind of keep an eye on, what her appearance back to the sport is, and for Carano as well. I think it should be good. I think it'll be cool. It'll be interesting to see what the undercard looks like. And that'll be the true test, because this isn't an exhibition fight. They haven't announced it as an exhibition MMA fight. This is an MMA fight. So it seems like it'll go on both their records. So it seems like they're going to put some experience and maybe some veteran MMA fighters on this card, which could make it fun and worth a Saturday night on Netflix. Now we're competing.
One thing, he is a genuine certified douchebag. But one thing I'll give Jake Paul a lot, he's a hell of a boxing promoter, and he's a hell of a fight promoter. So, yeah, I could see that card being a pretty entertaining thing from front to back. And I'm sure, yeah, you're right. There'll be some legends on that card, but I'm sure there'll also be some young talent that maybe have a chance to become known, with this card. And it's odd. We've seen this happen a lot with male fighters. I guess this is now a product of women's combat sports being 20, 25 years old now. We've never seen it with women where these combatants are going to come back after a very long extended break. I know Ronda had the WWE run with questionable results, and Serrano's been basically MIA for about 14 years. So it's going to be interesting to see, for me anyway, how that long layoff is going to affect them, because again, we've seen it happen with the dudes. George Foreman took some time off and won a heavyweight title in his 40s. Could this be something for Rousey, for Serrano, that we could win the right 2 or 3 fights and all of a sudden be mixed up in something here for real? But yeah, or it could just be old timers day at the ballpark. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting 3 rounds. Probably this is what's going to be 3 rounds. Eli's right in terms of the co-main is going to be huge as well. And let's be clear too. And Dana White will not want to hear this. This will be the most watched MMA fight card of the year because of the Netflix exposure. Now, can the UFC work out a deal with CBS and other major fighters and load up the White House card? We'll see, in light of what we just talked about a few minutes ago. But yeah, this is going to be heavy exposure. And I could say this too. Jake Paul, it almost might be time to consider Jake Paul one of the all-time great promoters, combat sport promoters in our history already. Because if you're able to load up a card like this, get these returning stars back in the forefront, you're going to sell a bunch of tickets having this in LA. People are going to want to see this, and you're going to be able to load up this card. And here's the other thing, because if this fight is successful and Ronda Rousey does come back full time, their women's division, with her at the top, even past her prime, is going to be more relevant than what UFC is putting out with their women's division at this moment right now to casuals.
Now, keep in mind, too, that, she just turned 40 or 39 this month. So she would probably be by far the oldest person on that roster. But, and I guess we can kind of lump in, and we'll throw another news and note in here. Floyd Mayweather is going to be coming back. We briefly hit it last week. It's going to be Mike Tyson. So we have all of these legends coming back in here for these fights. And I think the Serrano fight with Rousey is going to be what, May 18th, I believe?
May 6th, Saturday, May 16th.
May 16th. Okay. So, yeah, we're still a few months away on that one. Is boxing, is MMA, is combat sports in general having a problem with coming up with some new stars? Because this kind of reminds me of like when Hollywood Hogan and Macho Man were running around WCW, because they felt like they didn't really have any known stars other than those guys. Meanwhile, you got a lot of quality talent there. We don't need to go into it, but this seems like a wrestling promotion that doesn't have new stars, so it has to beat the death out of their old ones. Is it a problem right now with UFC and MMA and boxing in general that there hasn't really been a new big star since what, Conor McGregor?
I mean, I guess it's partly a problem, but I mean, the problem is always going to stem from they're putting the wrong faces in front of the camera. I mean, there are like definitely some stars in terms of talent in the UFC. If we're talking about the actual sport, like playing or performing well, there's talent, but I think, unfortunately, right now we're in a people loves the hits type of zone where, Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, Ronda Rousey, everybody's going to come back, Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley, everybody's going to come back and chase the bag, chase the Netflix bag and get after it. So I think, I mean, I guess there is a problem to a degree, but I think no matter what the time was, if all the legends were coming back, even if this was 2015, 2013, whatever, all the legends were coming back, I think this would be the talk of the town of the sports world in terms of combat sports. It's just people love legends of combat sports. I mean, I know they love them.
It seems like if this was 20 years ago, this Rousey fight or the Mayweather fight would be like the second main event. A penultimate fight. It wouldn't be the title fight on the card.
I don't know, man. Combat sports has always been known for like loving like the most random of things, though. Too, you got to remember, Kimbo Slice came up through backyard fighting.
Yeah,
so like but I'm saying like, so I don't know. I just think
Kimbo fights when you were in diapers, son. I don't want to hear about that.
Yeah, I think like fighting is just like a different beast. I think your question is two different questions. I feel like yes, the UFC and boxing has a problem promoting stars. We'll see with like Shakur Stevenson and guys like that, Ryan Garcia winning his first title. But, I mean, the other problem is, no matter what year, people would flock to go see. Like, if this was Chuck Liddell coming back, 10 years ago, and this was Chuck Liddell getting announced for this card or something, and those types of guys, then I don't know. That's just me, AA. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think you're. I have a different take. Yes, I think there's a major issue, particularly with UFC, but boxing as well. In UFC's case, it's because they want to promote the brand UFC more than the fighters. And that's been the case for 10 years. Well, now, I go back to the ESPN deal that they had previously. Like, ESPN and the UFC never promoted their stars. They always promoted UFC this, UFC that, UFC this, as opposed to 20 years ago, when we were watching UFC on Spike TV, they were promoting Chuck Liddell. They were promoting Rampage. They were promoting stars. They were promoting dudes. And that's why we knew all these guys. We knew like every single card. Okay, we know John Jones. We know some of these other guys. Like, okay, we got to watch this card. Nobody goes out of their way and say, oh, we got to watch UFC because it's UFC 323. Nobody cares. Like, who are the stars? But that is by design of Dana White and TKO. That's by design. Now, in terms of boxing, they just had a dead structure for years. So literally it's whatever superstars can creep up to the top, boom, you're set. But the other like 99% of the profession is screwed. So like Floyd Mayweather, you're set. If you're facing Floyd Mayweather, for the most part, you're set. And there's been select others. Terrence Crawford, Tyson Fury. There's been a few others that have broken through.
A Klitschko here and there. Yeah.
Yeah, Canelo. Yep. But yeah, all these guys, a few of these guys have broken through, but many have not. Because Top Rank did the exact same thing. Top Rank promoted their fights on ESPN as Top Rank Boxing. Nobody cares about Top Rank Boxing. You care about the stars, but these promoters want to be bigger stars than the fighters that they have involved. That's why Jake Paul is brilliant, because Jake Paul is utilizing the star power that he has available because he is committed to promoting the superstars as opposed to just the brand
himself.
Yeah.
And here's why they don't want stars. Do you know why this Rousey fight's going to be on Netflix and not a UFC fight?
The big discussion was the pay-per-view points. They weren't trying to pay up.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. I mean, clearly,
You have
yeah.
to pay stars.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you look at the WWE. You mentioned TKO. With the WWE, we're around it. We pay attention to it. We see it here and there. But there's, in AA, obviously, side hustle. But how many people are on that roster right now, full time? Not the Brocks that come in for a couple of days here and there. But how many full-time superstars are on that roster that by themselves would draw money? 4 or 5?
Yeah.
I mean, the Roman Reigns, CM Punks of the world, that's, there's it's a very short list of people who would actually draw money because, and ask the guys that were running ESPN in the 90s and aughts, stars, first off, are more expensive, and they start thinking they can tell you what to do. Hey, CM Punk, looking at Triple H going, I don't need to work with you. You need to work with me. It's stuff like that. It's, hey, I have, with my fame, I have control over my own, name, image, like what, they're harder to deal with. And in the case of the UFC, random ass fighter that can be switched out for another guy on 2 days' notice, you're going to do what you're told. And you're going to take the money you're given, and you're not going to haggle over money. You're not going to be a pain in the ass. You're going to be a good soldier, and you're going to fly right. NFL is the same way. Respect the shield, respect the shield. All of these things are. I think that's the fight that every broadcaster, every player, every person kind of in this situation has to fight, is breaking through that glass ceiling and becoming to a point where you can kind of dictate your own terms. But as long as Dana White's in charge of the UFC with his current philosophy, it's not going to happen. They're not going to have the stars because the stars get power. The stars get paid. And Dana White likes to get paid. So it's just not going to happen.
But the long term, I know we're going to move here in a second. The long term impact is what you're seeing right now. When you create stars, you do make more money.
Yeah.
And the UFC has not been the same as far as the amount of revenue that they have brought in since Conor McGregor has been active.
Yeah.
So
right
that's what you sacrifice.
Put it in wrestling terms, Diesel's their heavyweight champion right now. Like you don't have a chance to build any new stars up. So now in a generation, no one's going to have a reason to watch. And yeah, it took a generation. You had the Road Dogg, you had what was going to be DX kind of right behind that. But they had to, the spotlight had to be knocked out for them to kind of flourish. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. And, yeah, I think as long as you can make a case that Dana White is the most important promoter in combat sports, and you can also make a case that he's the worst thing about combat sports, too. So it is what it is. This is News and Notes on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. You're listening to and watching the main event. Thank you, folks, for sticking around with us till about 11:35 right now. We do have more news and notes here. Let me see if I can get the spectacles out because I'm.
Oh, this is serious.
All righty, we got Well, it looks like, and Stan Van Gundy is on this. We're going to go to the NBA. Stan Van Gundy's on this. A few other notable names. There has been talk with a third of the league tanking right now for a top pick of this NBA draft to maybe not this year, but in years future. Get rid of the reason why everybody's tanking. Get rid of the draft. How would you feel, gentlemen, with, the fact that everybody's losing for all these picks and losing for a better advantage, I think the Cavaliers, half their schedule down the stretch are going to be against tanking teams.
Hey, keep that tanking going then. Let's go.
But how do you feel about a very extreme solution? Hey, you got a great reason why you're tanking. Let's just get rid of the reason. Are we okay with looking at possibly a world in sports with no rookie drafts?
Go ahead, Eli.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's across the board, though, so I don't think it's going to be rookie drafts. I think this is more an NBA problem, yeah. I mean, so, I don't know. I think this is just, like I've said this before, I think this is overkill because it's going to punish the teams that are actually just poor teams that just aren't good. Based off the
like
teams
Indiana,
that are tanking.
Indiana right now, they're sucking right now for a legitimate reason.
Correct. Yeah, they're without Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah, I mean, clearly they are just not the same team that went to the finals last year. But you look at Utah, who's Keontae George and Lauri Markkanen, guys that they can actually, Ace Bailey, the guys that can build around and actually probably could win some games, probably be in the play-in tournament right now. But they have just actively just terribly tanking, and that's what's making this look bad. This is what making it bad for the teams that are just, like I said, just bad teams. So I don't know. I think this is overkill, but they got to look into something. I mean, something is better than rewarding these teams for strategizing the best way to be bad. I mean, how do you sell that to the people out in Utah? Hey, come buy the Jazz tickets and you watch them strategize how to blow a third quarter lead to get the number one pick, 3 months later. It's like, I don't understand the whole method, but I do think it's overkill if they were to get rid of a draft because that's the whole point. I mean, that's how we've had this structured.
And this is why I actually love Charles Barkley's idea, but it would never get passed. The owners would never vote for this. But Barkley over the weekend said, basically, if you don't make the playoffs, you can't raise your ticket prices. And I love that idea. Like if let's actually put some financial stake into, whether or not you make the playoffs. I would not, me personally, I'm not a fan of getting rid of the NBA draft. A lot of, for the reasons that Eli just mentioned, like there are actual true bad teams. Every fan base deserves some kind of hope that your team's going to get better. So I would not get rid of the draft. But when I heard Barkley mention that, I thought to myself, like, man, it would never get passed because owners wouldn't vote for it. But I think it would be brilliant. If you do not make the playoffs, you cannot raise your season tickets. You can't raise your ticket prices for next season. I would love that idea because all of a sudden now you're putting financial stake into winning. If you win and you make the playoffs, you can raise tickets however you want. But if you don't win, if your team doesn't make the playoffs, if they don't make the play-in tournament, it freezes for next season. I would love for that to actually happen. I just don't think it'll ever get passed.
I've heard of a few things to kind of circumvent tanking. The first one was you can't pick in the top 5 of the draft in consecutive years. Another one I heard was it's not the worst record in the league this year. It's the worst record for the last 3. So, and the other one I heard too was if you make the playoffs, you cannot pick in the lottery. Something along that line, because Oklahoma City's kind of, has, 48 lottery picks coming up here despite the fact that they're awesome. Now, what I think, and this is, you want to talk about unviable solutions that could never happen. The best way to get rid of tanking, relegation. You talk about a pocketbook hit, AA. Guess what? Your team just finished last in the NBA. Here's your G League schedule next year. Deal with it.
Hey.
And here's your ticket prices. Deal with it. That's why you don't see in other sports around the with relegation, because there is a penalty for losing. Right now, we have this cockamamie system, and I understand why, and I don't have a better one. But we have this cockamamie system that actually, in a lot of ways, rewards you for winning or for losing. You get, there is no punishment for losing. Like, hell, you do a fantasy football league and you come in dead last. You could be sitting on a street corner with a damn spinny sign saying that you suck at fantasy football. there's typically a punishment for losing. There is none in the NBA. You actually get a small reward in some cases for losing. So what they have to do is they have to make an honest-to-God punishment for losing. Is it demotion to the G League? I think that's extreme, but you need to do something along. Maybe if it is, freezing ticket prices, or if it is, I don't know. You'd have to figure out a way to hit them in the pocketbook. Like, hey, if you have, the top, if you finish in the lottery for 2 straight years or whatever, I don't know, that you can't be on national TV or something along that. I don't know, but they have to make a punishment for losing a shit ton of games.
I think the reasonable thing, what I expect them to do is probably set a drop dead date on when the lottery odds
I heard trade deadline
are set. And I would either the trade deadline or even like March 1st. By March 1st, the lottery odds are set. And that's that. I can see something that's the realistic approach. But we talked about it real quick before the show. I personally did not think this tanking thing was a huge deal until I thought about it from the fantasy football lens or gambling. The betting, of the Utah thing's an interesting example. FanDuel, and we see with the Cavs broadcast, they talk about and they show on the screen in-game live bets. Every quarter, there are differences in odds. Every single quarter. It's not just whatever bet you put in going into the game. It sets quarter by quarter. So if Utah is in position to win the game, and in the third quarter, you place the bet for the second half, like, hey, here's the over-under. And then fourth quarter, things fall apart for no reason. The gamblers and the gambling companies are going to come after you. And every broadcast talks about DraftKings and things like that. And to real quick to bring it to the fantasy football thing for a second, all of us are in the same league. Imagine for a week 7 or week 13, week 14, we're competing for fantasy football playoff positioning. And one of us has Patrick Mahomes. And Kansas City, right before the game, there's no injury reports, no nothing. We hear 90 minutes before the game, Patrick Mahomes is sitting due to low management. And we don't have any time to pick up a backup quarterback. None. And we had no notice, no nothing. We lose, and we're out of the fantasy football playoffs.
Or you had $10,000 on the over that game. Not crazy.
Somebody go hear about it.
Yeah, and I think that's and the gambling kind of layer it puts a whole different layer into this now that these decisions have honest to God financial ramifications. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know why anybody would bet on the NBA right now. It is because it amazes me how Emmanuel Clase can tank a pitch for one bet, and that is the worst thing ever. And then meanwhile, the Jazz are tanking games, and since the reason is slightly different, we're okay with it. Because, and I've used this now for a couple of weeks. Some people call it tanking. Others call it point shaving. Either way, you are deliberately performing, however you want to say it, you are not giving your best effort to manipulate the ending result of a game, of a pitch, of an at-bat, of whatever. It's the same thing. We just do it for different reasons, and for whatever reason, tanking in the NBA has just become a part of the culture. And I don't know if there's anything we can do about it.
Well, DraftKings is telling you to do something about it. That's why we got that response from Adam Silver last week. Because DraftKings and all these other companies the NBA is working with, they're saying do something about this right now or we're out.
Yeah.
And they're the biggest financial sponsor of the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the money's going to have to talk. The money's going to have to, because they're not going to listen to anything else. They're not going to listen to the fans. They're not going to listen to the players. They're not going to listen to the media. They're not going to listen. No, it's going to be the money. That's what they're going to have to pay attention to.
Yep.
All right, we got some news and notes going here on Inside Edge Podcasting Network. This is the main event. We got a few more minutes left. I got two more stories here to talk about. One little lighter one here. This isn't a completely important, life or death story, but I think it is noteworthy. Double A, what if I told you that there is a professional hockey player that has been playing longer than you've been alive?
What has he been smoking?
Well, we have to go to Prague. We have to go to Prague. And he was talking to the media earlier, I think today, actually. It's dated yesterday, actually. But fresh off the World Hockey, Olympic stuff here, Jaromir Jagr has informed the media that at his 38th season might be his last. He's only played about 5 or 6 games. He actually he plays for a pro team out in Czechoslovakia. Guess who the owner is? Jaromir Jagr. So pretty easy to find some playing time. But he has told the media, they asked, he said, probably not. Jagr said in an interview published late Friday on his Instagram, it would have to be a miracle. God would have to come, enter me, and make me 15 years younger. By the way, 15 years younger for Jaromir Jagr is 39 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
He is 54 years old, and he might be finally riding off into the sunset. Keep in mind that this was a dude who won a Stanley Cup in Pittsburgh in the early 90s.
Yeah, that's something. That's something, man. We've been talking about Jaromir Jagr since we started the show, and he was old then.
No,
older.
11 years ago.
Yeah.
11 years ago, he was 43. And I think he was still playing in the NHL back then.
I just want to point out that we just laid out the path for LeBron James's retirement tour. It's going to be 15 years long. It might have a brief stop here in Cleveland, but it's going to be 14 or 15 years long as the new owner of the Las Vegas Gamblers, whatever you want to name the team in Las Vegas. And he's going to be part owner / player. He's going to outlast Michael Jordan in that part ownership player row by 12 years. And he might only dress up and play for like 5 games. Watch, LeBron does this. It's going to be a Rich Paul idea. I'm telling you, watch.
He last played in the NHL. He played 1 game in 2017, his age 45 season for Calgary. He was actually, the year before that, his age 44 season, he played every game. A full 82. Before that was 79, and he was an all-star.
Yeah. LeBron's going to do this. I'm telling you, LeBron's going to do this.
No.
He's going to give you a season where he plays like 70 games.
I know how LeBron's going to do this. It's going to be a 2-year-long retirement tour. It will start in Cleveland and end in Los Angeles. Not for the Lakers, not for the Clippers, but for Team USA. He will have his retirement tour over the next 2 seasons, and then in 2028, when the games are in Los Angeles, great time to just ride off into the sunset.
Don't retire as a gold medalist, hopefully.
Yep. Yeah. He'll get one more cheap gold medal because Lord knows he's only going to be playing about 6 minutes a game. He's going to be getting the Halliburton minutes. That's what he. Did you hear about? And I don't want to digress too long. Did you? Halliburton was talking. He was mentioning his first team meeting with Team USA.
Great. Yeah, this was great. Go ahead, Rob. Take this one.
Steve Kerr kind of looks around. He goes, "Some of y'all ain't going to play. I know you guys are all used to being, the number one guy on the team, the number one option on the team." And Halliburton's sitting there and he's looking around the room. He goes, "Well, you got Tatum over there. You got LeBron over there. You got Durant over. None of these guys are sitting. I wonder who's going to be. Oh, shit, it's me. He's talking to me right now." Yeah. And you're like, it's kind of that whole thing of like, if you look around a poker table and you don't spot the mark, you're the mark. He looked around. He was like, none of these guys are getting benched.
Yeah, he was talking to LeBron about that. And LeBron's just like, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
Hopefully he'll get some minutes in 28, maybe. Yeah, that'll be what
I hope
happens.
so. Tyrese Halliburton is one of my favorite sports athletes. I just hate that he doesn't play for the Cavs. I hate that he plays for Indiana because
Did you
what
see
he
the
has
news
done to
today?
us.
Diagnosed with shingles. So yeah, ACL surgery and shingles. He's not having a good 2025 right now, but in 26.
26,
so.
yeah.
Well, I mean, his
There you
25
go.
wasn't all that great either. He blew out the Achilles, so it is what it is.
He has a future in professional wrestling if things don't work out in the NBA.
No,
things are working out all right.
Yeah, they're working out just fine. I think he signed his max contract. He's okay.
He's in the NBA Finals, for freak's sake. Okay,
I'm talking about his health. I'm not talking about playing abilities.
Yeah.
Dude's a dog. I mean,
Oh my goodness.
All right, we do have one final story here. We were talking a little bit before the show started here. We have some upheaval in the Major League Baseball Players Union. Tony Clark was banging his sister-in-law, and normally that's not an issue with a union or your job. It just is when you hire your sister-in-law on the union payroll. So, and also too that whole like federal investigation on the shell company you've been running with the NFLPA. There's some stuff going on right now with the Major League Baseball Players Union. And this was a union that in both of your lifetimes was probably the strongest, not just sports union, but strongest labor union on the planet. And right now, the Major League Baseball, or the PA, new interim guy in there, he has been with the league for a while. He was the chief negotiator for the last couple of CBAs. But nonetheless, this is the Players Union has taken a lot of big hits lately, and this is not good news for if I'm a Major League Baseball player going into this current labor negotiation, which obviously we all know that the labor contract is going to be up in December. But for a behind-the-scenes story for somebody that isn't going to swing a bat, isn't going to catch a ball, isn't going to call a strike, this is probably as big as it's going to get for these labor negotiations, at least right now.
Eli, I'm loading in some sound now. We got to play.
Yeah, you're good.
To this story.
Yeah, I feel like Rozycki already kind of touched on most of it, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously this isn't good for like with the lockout, impending lockout and that situation. And, with one of the biggest off seasons coming up in baseball, I mean, obviously not needing this type of information to come on out for the MLB. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's not, at least in my opinion, not too much to expand upon that one, except for, I mean, what the heck, reasons he got kicked out. And then, yeah, I mean, Double A, that's all I got on that one, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. Go Guards. Go Guards.
Oh. Yeah, there's some problems with this. First off, the inability to be able to do your job with all this going on. Okay, this loaded in. Okay, I was kind of feeling it.
No, you were vamping there, yeah.
Okay, so I got to play this. This is from WFAN out of New York. Boomer and Gio, their morning show.
Okay.
They're reacting.
Tell them to pipe down, tell them to salute the flag, and
yeah. That's some stuff going on there too. But they got the clip from what Mad Dog Russo, Christopher Russo, see him on First Take, MLB, Mad Dog Radio, whatever. He's like, this ain't a big deal. Take a look at this reaction.
Okay. This is Dog from his Tuesday show. Okay. As this news is breaking now, I was there listening to it, so I thought this at the time, and maybe he cleaned this up yesterday, I'm not sure. But as the Tony Clark sister-in-law news is breaking, I thought a bit of a bizarre take and reaction from Dog.
That it was due to an inappropriate relationship with a sister-in-law who, is in her 50s. What's so inappropriate about that? I don't understand. I mean, this happens all the time, this stuff. I mean, why would that be considered inappropriate? It's his sister-in-law. All right, so it's his brother's wife. I mean, I guess it's inappropriate, well, but isn't that a family matter more so than is a union matter?
So what's he doing in his private life that's not inappropriate? Where's Cox? Holy hell. It's not like he was banging his cousin and they had a baby that had a tail. I mean, that would be inappropriate. That would be a problem.
I mean, sports talker, slightly uninformed, more at 11. He forgot to realize, the whole deal that she's on payroll. Just like, did you see what Colin Cowherd was saying after the women's gold medal game, the 3-on-3 overtime, about how the NHL needs to sit down and take some notes and actually copy the international game, forgetting the fact that they've been 3-on-3 overtime for like over a decade.
Yeah,
same kind of thing. You got to know the details here, and the issue isn't the affair. The issue is the payroll and the union nepotism. That's what it is. But yeah, Doggy. What I like about Doggy is that he definitely leaps before he looks.
Yeah.
And sometimes he lands comfortably. Sometimes he's Wile E. Coyote falling off the cliff.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Hey, that's Stephen A. Smith School of Broadcast. I mean, Mad Dog was in it first, but you get that first take education. It's a whole different experience. Like Stephen A. saying the other day, he'll, as long as first take's on the air, they'll never leave Ben Simmons alone. Like dog. Like Ben Simmons.
I'm done with and I guess it's a news and note. We can I don't have it written down or anything, but the whole Stephen A. running for president thing.
Yeah,
can we
Rozycki,
just calm down?
Just send us to what do we learn? Yeah, there's a reason you didn't have that one wrote down.
All politics aside, this is a dude who couldn't keep his shit together well enough when the Knicks were playing bad this week and had to storm off studio in the middle of a live broadcast. Is this going to be the grace and dignity and professionalism that we're going to expect in the fucking Situation Room?
See what you did, AA?
Orange and blue skies, baby.
See what you did?
Orange and blue skies.
Okay, it's just I'm sorry. Like bro, like you're just do what we're good at here. Like it's not that hard. Like McAfee, I know he just signed a deal. Like he just signed a new agent. I think it's Ari Emanuel. He's signed on to to be the next Stallone. Okay, fine. That you can make a couple of bad action movies. I'm okay with that. But when you start talking about where my fucking Medicare money's going, or are we glowing in the dark in nuclear war? Just we already got one reality TV host as president. I don't need one in my party too. But all right, let's I digress.
Yeah.
But this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We got a few minutes left here. We're going to be a couple minutes later than we wanted to be, but let's go over what we have learned in the last 7 days here in sports, in life, in anything. Who wants to start this one off?
Yeah, I can start. I learned that Rozycki doesn't know what a hard out is. We said we're going to get you out at 11:30 to 12. We are past that.
Eli, you cannot lecture me on hard outs. I don't know how many fucking meetings I sat with you on the clock trying not to kill myself because you realized that, hey, even though this meeting's done at noon, we can keep this fucker going until 2:15 and we get paid for it. So
I was like 19. I was like 19, man. That's fair. I got you.
You were 19. I was not.
That's fair. We all got paid, though. Yeah.
All right. $4.50 for the 2 hours that we were sitting there playing.
That's fair.
All the mistakes we made in our lives.
They used to get so pissed at you, Eli.
I know. That's fair. Now here I am 10 years later, like, dude. All right, no. All right, no. What I learned this weekend is that this upcoming week, this Friday is my album release show. And I learned that I got some things I got to button up, get some last-minute things together for it. But if you need something to do in the Lakewood area, Cleveland area, if you're in Akron or wherever, you just want to come on out, I will be performing at my bros as well, Mushu, Cliche, and Gio. My Lahele bros will be performing. 7 o'clock doors, show is 8 o'clock, $10 tickets. I'm going to do the album Golden Child, going to release that, produced by Narrator, my bro, and going to be good. I'll be on the air with WSSR in the morning at 9 a.m. with Style, a guy Style, and be on talking about the album and kind of what went into it and getting everybody ready for the album release. But yeah, Golden Child album release show this Friday, February 27th, over at Brothers Lounge. Yeah.
Am I allowed to ask on the air the meaning? Oh, I know the answer. I just want people watching to know this answer. The meaning behind Golden Child.
Yeah, so it was like a double meaning, you know. I mean, first off, I just think it was funny because like my dad, like, you know, my sister and brother always were like, "You're the golden child" growing up because I have like a younger sister and a younger brother. But then Mark B. Easy, one of my bros in Lahele, you know, we were like, I was like handling a lot of stuff, and he just goes, "You know, you're the golden child, man." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Because you're just making stuff happen, bro. Like you just make things happen wherever you're at. You know, you're just impacting wherever you're moving, wherever you're walking." You're like the golden child, man. Like you make it shine. So like I just kind of ran with that, and that's the meaning behind Golden Child. Kind of just like the whole album is like stepping into my own and just like who I am. And yeah, it's cool. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be good time. So excited, man.
No, that's gonna be fantastic. Again, when is that show, Eli?
Friday, February 27th. This Friday, $10 tickets at the door. You can get them online through Brothers Lounge or at the Man They Call Moon in my bio. And yeah, man, come on out and kick it. Come on.
So I learned, actually I learned three things, but I'll speed through two of them. Number one, both of my guys are going to be out of town on a particular Sunday a month from now. Eli,
21st, 22nd, something like that?
Yeah,
I think so. Eli will be in Texas.
Yep.
And Rob will be at Disney.
Yes.
So
the happiest place on earth. I should do it.
Yes.
So that particular Sunday, that's going to be our first true experiment with fill-ins. So that's going to be fun. So more on that to come. And then the second thing I learned, if you ever want to try to double luge, I ain't the one to do it. Go ahead and watch. There's a skit that Shaq and his producer Underdog did last night of the double luge, and yeah, that's not for me. I didn't know.
I don't want to get too, you know, and obviously there's a little bit of a joking here, but the whole winter sport, you know, putting, strapping your ass to a sled and seeing how fast you can get down a hill. Let's face it, the whites are the ones who are dumb enough to do that on a consistent basis. You know that, right? Like, this is, and it's a white European thing. Like, you know, you put a fucking Norwegian dude in a skin tight Lycra suit and he's just at home. Like, I don't get what it is, but it happens. And
that is not a sport that we will ever try in our community. That will never happen.
That I can see ski jumping too. I don't see you guys wanting to go about 40 feet in the air and fighting gravity head up. Like, again, we're the white folks are kind of dumb enough to go on that fight here.
Eli, what was the stat that I gave you in chat about the big air competition?
Oh my goodness! About the 180 foot, 180. It's 180 feet in the air. It's high, 10 feet higher than the gatekeeper. I mean, that's pretty tall, Double A.
Yeah, the gatekeeper at Cedar Point, the snowboarding big air, 180 feet high, the ramp. 10 feet higher than the gatekeeper roller coaster at Cedar Point. But here's my actual what have you learned. Preparing for this show, I came across this incredible chart that I found on Twitter. Someone did a LinkedIn study. Over the last 100 years, all of us have been in a relationship. Rob's in a relationship right now. It's going strong. But it's always very curious. How do couples meet? Who introduces couples to each other? And I joke because there's one stat that is at the very bottom 100 years ago, very top right now. But take a look at this chart. I'm going to have to play the Be Right Back slide here in the background to fully get this. But watch this. This is a 100-year progression of how couples meet. Take a look.
such nice music. Yeah, the internet wasn't big in 1950. I don't know why.
Oh, double A. That's some groundbreaking stuff right there, dude.
Well, I think that just kind of shows not even just relationships, but just like how we don't talk to each other anymore. It's all just online, and it's just kind of a sad state of affairs that we're all meeting online right now. We don't actually have any, number one, face-to-face contact. By the way, me and Nikki did meet on Facebook, so whatever. But it just kind of shows, we're living a lot of more of our lives online for sure.
That is 60%. Like
3 out of 5, yeah.
Like online, I figure online would be number one. That part to me is not groundbreaking, but the 60% versus all of those other categories: family, friends, bars and restaurants, church, co-workers, like all of that was 40% online, and 60%. And based on those trends, that number is going to grow.
Oh yeah, it's going to grow. Yeah, especially with Gen Z now. Like, they in most of their life, they see online as a real place, like as a place where, maybe our, my generation for sure, like I don't consider anything on social media real, but these folks kind of do. So yeah, it is the world that we're living in now.
It's one of the, you know what? Here's a plug for Midnight Run tomorrow night. We might examine that a little bit more because I have some thoughts on what we just saw there. So we're tuning in to Midnight Run at about this time tomorrow night. We'll examine that a little bit more tomorrow.
Okay. Now, what I've learned this week is, and I will do this actually, I will coincide this with one of my favorite things every baseball season. We have the brand new Topps 2026 new set coming out now. They are, minutes off the press here. I think they're only been out for about a week or two. But I will pop this open and talk about what I have learned, because this actually is kind of germane to what I'm saying here. Check your shit, everybody. Check your attics. Check your basements. Check your old books. Check grandma's old whatever the hell. Just figure out what your family has and what could be in between the pages. And I say that again as I am opening up this pack. Actually, a 32 card pack. I got the double one this time.
Oh.
And it's because there was a family that apparently was looking around in some old books and everything like that. And they found in the pages and whatever here a 1909 suite, Caporal, I think is how you say it, Corporeal T206 Honus Wagner baseball card. You know what that is, gentlemen? It's the most expensive baseball card on the planet. And they found this thing apparently one owner. It was opened out of a brand new pack in 1909, and Time forgot about it. And they put it up for auction. $5.1 million. That's like 4 signings for the Guardians. Like, we're talking some serious money here, too. And, just to help things out, we can keep things going on. I got Tarek Skubal. One right there to kind of throw one out here. I don't know anything about these cards coming out here right now. I got Bryce Harper. That looks, or Nolan Arenado. We got the Diamondbacks.
Bryce Harper doesn't want to change anything about salary cap.
And guess what, gentlemen?
You got to move that closer.
Yeah.
Oh, Jose Ramirez. Jose. Okay.
We will go with our man Jose. We got Riley Green, Josh Smith, Bubba Chandler. I've never heard of that guy.
Now,
by the way,
how much
75th anniversary of Topps this year, by the way. What's up?
How much, real quick, how much would a Jose Ramirez knocking out Tim Anderson card sell for?
I don't know, but I got a Tim Anderson card underneath my Jose bobblehead just as a spiritual kind of thing. Oh, let's see. Actually, I don't mind the look of these cards, actually. Joe Waddell. We got Lennon Sosa. I don't know who that guy is. And, we got Gavin Williams. The Guardians are well represented in this big old pack.
There you go.
Rafael Devers. I think he's actually going to play the position they want him to play this time around. Carlos Rodon. We should probably give that to Kyle so he has some target practice later on. That might be a good idea. Let's see. Vil Vest, Tristan Peters, don't know that guy. Another Guardian here. We got Daniel Schneemann. It's another horizontal card there. I don't mind that one at all. I always like the horizontal cards. I think, anytime I'm looking for that kind of stuff. Cal Raleigh, fresh off his 60 home run season.
Big dumper.
Max
Shout out McAfee.
O'Shea and Rondon again. So, yeah, not a bad pack here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I actually do like the looks of these. I know it's kind of tough to kind of show them over deal here, but I think Topps actually did hit it out pretty well here. We got Mr. Cal Raleigh. But yeah, I was hoping for like a 1-of-1. Somebody signed, Derek Jeter's jockstrap, and they cut it up and put it on the card or something.
Cal Raleigh is in for another big year. We'll see what happens. Oh, speaking of which, I actually do have a programming announcement. Funny timing has worked out. The Inside Edge Network will be live at the Greenie Sports Convention Show in Independence, Ohio, in mid-April. So we'll be there live.
Okay, that's going to be a very big part of my life, Double A. That's going to, absolutely have to happen. The one thing though with Cal Raleigh, and I want to find the actual name here, new hire for the Guardians here, the bench coach. They got him from Seattle, and he has been basically the kind of guru out there to deal with Cal Raleigh. And if you actually look at it from 3 years ago, the two coaches that were dealing with Cal Raleigh 3 years ago was Tony Arnott, the new bench coach. And do you remember who the bullpen coach for those guys were? 3 years ago, Seattle? Stephen Vogt.
Oh, yeah.
So they got the two guys that were kind of responsible for Raleigh's development in the major leagues. Running this team. So another reason, Bo Naylor, you better have a good fucking year. And I mean that seriously as I possibly can. But yes, anything else today, gentlemen, before we clear out of here? A nice brisk 45 minutes late?
No, that's it.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's it. I might, other than that, that figure with the cards, we actually have that programming announcement coming.
But Greenies, that'll be a big time. But again, seriously, go through, and it's not going to be a Honus Wagner. The odds are very low. But yeah, dude, you never know when you're going through a garage sale, you're going on the thrift stores, the right piece of cardboard might fall out of a book, and you could retire. So yeah, always keep an eye on your shit. That's what I've learned.
Yeah, you could. And real quick about that Greenie Sports Cards show, baseball, football, a lot of Cleveland sports stuff. They also have non-sports stuff too. So if you're a Pokemon fan, a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, wrestling fan, especially classic wrestling fan, this is the show you got to be. April 10th through the 12th.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now to see what they're...
They'll have the Greenie Sports Card Show in Independence High School and the Inside Edge Network. We don't know which date will be there, but one of those 3 dates we'll do a live broadcast.
Yeah, let's see. Have they announced any guests yet for this bad boy here?
I
keep an eye.
I have to check.
I'm not seeing anything readily available for everybody here, but... there'll be an Independence, a little bit later on. They got a Broadview Heights deal going, and we can definitely get in touch with these guys and have a good old time there. So I might even bring. I got to get some of these cards checked out here. I got a bunch of wax pack shit, so I don't know if that's going to be like, hey, you got the most expensive card out of the set, and it's $9. So there could be.
I'm sure Steve will hook you up. I think you'll be in good shape if you bring your stuff.
Oh yeah, I understand, but you can only put so much lipstick on a pig. But yes, that has been. I think if everybody's good here, we've a nice scant 3 hours later. We're sitting here concluding the main event. We have we got a whole big week. It's going to be post Olympics. We got spring training coming up. We have the Cavaliers again. They're facing the New York Knicks coming up.
In Detroit. We got some big opponents this week with the Cavs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we're going to keep an eye on that. We got baseball happening. I'm sure there's going to be some other unexpected, stupid occurrence happening in the next 7 days that we will be talking about. That keeps us in business, everybody. But for everybody here in studio, we got Eli Moon rocking the Youngstown Penguins gear out. We have Double A Anthony Alford rocking out, looks like a Mr. Rogers style hoodie cardigan situation. Cleveland, there you go. And I am also rocking out my Cleveland and USA Curling, baby, 2014. Rocking that out. Everybody, thank you for joining us. We could not do it without you. Again, you are the reason why this thing exists. And I hope we have entertained you and taken your mind off things for a few hours. But for Double A, for Eli, I am Rob Rozycki. We'll see you next week.